This one I sent you just today, Taylor, and I feel like it's fitting for a mini. This one is from the CBC, Canada's news outlet. I don't know that it speaks for everyone, but it's good. And this one is from November 10th, 2025, luckily. Not any other year. And who wrote it? Christian Pasling, Avi Angelovsky, Peter Pearson, and Eric Sesto.
That's a lot of people that wrote that.
I know.
I'm also going to say you shouldn't say luckily from this year. I don't think this is good news.
No, I'm just saying luckily for us, it's recent news. Is all that meant.
See, I still don't think it's lucky.
No. It's just that I'm on the recent news for once. Usually it's like years past. Anyhow, this one's titled MMM Gym Owners Coaches ID'd at Secretive Neo-Nazi Event in BC, British Columbia, for those who are not Canadian or Canadian and don't know what BC means.
They exist. They're in the East.
Yep. It's true. Some of the country's most prominent white supremacist groups gathered in Vancouver this summer for a secretive neo-Nazi conference that also included martial arts gym owners, coaches, and trainers. In Vancouver? Yep.
How is it secretive if it's in one of the 3 biggest cities in Canada?
You could still do secret things here.
I guess it's probably easier than in small towns.
That's
like
true.
Ramona Dadula has clearly shown.
Yeah, that's very true. Held at the Scottish Cultural Centre Scottish Cultural Centre, that sucks for them. In the city's South End. The event, I've never heard of the South End of Vancouver.
Well, yeah, it's secret.
The event was organized by a group called Exiles of the Golden Age and discussed the formation of manor buns on the group's social media accounts. They described these as disciplined groups of men who can rebuild our world amidst the coming wreckage.
It really bothers me, Chelsea, that they chose German for that. Like, the buns, it's a friendship.
Oh, is that what that means? How do you know that?
During World War II, there's a very famous group called the German American Bund, which was people who were pro-Nazi. And they had a rally at Madison Square Garden for them.
Oh.
And yeah, it was like 30,000 people went to Madison Square Garden to cheer on the Nazis and had like full-on Nazi gear.
We've talked about that, I think.
It's the German American Bund, which means they're using German because they used Bund.
Yeah, okay. CBC News' Visual Investigations Unit obtained video of attendees and organizers entering the event. The video was gathered by the non-profit Canadian Anti-Hate Network, CAHN, which studies far-right extremism in Canada. One conference speaker, a founding member of the white nationalist group Wolves of Vinland, talked of an ongoing war in society that is both cultural and physical. Another speaker said the Mannerbund formations be based on the principles that are ethnically exclusive.
Can I just add a little bit of context? The Wolves of Vinland would be a throwback to the original Viking colony that came across in like the 1200s from Greenland and Iceland, because they called the east coast of Canada Vinland. Oh. So that's what they're thrown back to.
Okay, well, thank you for that insight, because I had no idea.
Yeah, it's weird how much lore you need to know for a lot of white supremacy and Nazi adjacent
Well, then
things.
I don't feel so bad for not knowing it. The CAHN video reveals the gathering included individuals with long-standing ties to the neo-Nazi movement and members of white supremacist nationalist group Second Sons Canada, an example of an active club previously reported on by CBC News.
Chelsea, I'm just curious. Second Sons, like a child or the thing in the sky?
The child.
Okay. I just need to make it clear. I'm not sure, because there's so much figurativity in their wording and metaphors that I never know whether or not they're like using straightforward things or like metaphors of really weird things.
Active clubs are white supremacist groups that organize combat training, often in public parks and privately owned gyms. I'm going to look at every kind of gym suspiciously now.
Especially if it has the word active
or children in it. Because of the sons, right?
Any second children.
Not that this is funny. Quote, I find it extremely alarming that there would be any extremist group or, fascist fighting club showing up in Vancouver. End quote. City Councillor Rebecca Bly told CBC.
You guys don't have a great mayor, so it's not that surprising.
No, we don't have it. Well, it's not my mayor. I'm not officially in Vancouver.
You don't get to vote on it.
I'm just close by enough for it to kind of affect me. I don't know. Quote, any group whose foundational premise is violence against others based on race or ... ethnicity is not welcome in Vancouver, end quote. I'm not sure what those ... were in there for.
It just means there was things in the
that
middle,
they cut
but
out.
it didn't impact the actual
I thought they were just taking a pause. Evan Belgord, executive director of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, said it was significant that exiles were able to bring together so many different individuals and groups in a unique event that was heavy on philosophy. Quote, the white nationalist movement used to be very fragmented and had a lot of infighting, end quote. Belgord said, requote, the reason that we've been warning about the size and the threat of the white nationalist movement in Canada right now is because they have managed to sort of figure out a unified and coherent strategy, and they are successfully recruiting large numbers of people doing it, end quote. Sorry, I kept talking while you were trying to.
No, and that's perfect because that made a lot of sense because they're saying they have a coherent trajectory or plan that they want to execute. It makes a lot of sense with that quote he gave. Where, did you hear that? Like, it sounds like they were discussing philosophy.
Yeah.
At the white nationalist event. They very clearly are obfuscating what the actual event is.
No, it is on purpose, I would believe. Experts say Exiles of the Golden Age is an example of a, quote, folkish group, philosophy that incorporates Germanic or Norse pagan traditions with white supremacist and neo-Nazi elements. That might have to do with what you were saying about the...
They weirdly all bring themselves back to Norse and pagan. There's not a lot of, like, people bring it back to, like, I don't know, 1800s Bordeaux under the Napoleonic rule.
Weird, actually.
Not good imagery around that.
The Exiles of the Golden Age name appears in a passage from The Lightning in the Sun, a 1958 book by Savitri Devi, a notorious neo-Nazi writer who espoused a cyclical view of history where humanity will once again enter a golden age after going through a period of darkness and decay. The Lightning in the Sun is dedicated to Adolf Hitler, whom Devi describes as, quote, the man against time, end quote, and the godlike individual of our times. End quote. An advertisement for another conference organized by Exiles last year invited all men against time. The group's Telegram channel also features pictures of a pagan ceremony to mark the changing of the seasons that include swastikas. Quote, if you see a swastika in the middle of a picture at that point, that's Nazism, end quote, said Catherine Tibaldi, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Luxembourg who specializes in modern white supremacist movements. Quote, many symbols have multiple meanings and different interpretations, but some of them just become very regimented, very fixed, and this one is one of them, end quote. In a speech at the Vancouver event, a conference organizer identified by CAHN and verified by CBC as BC-based boxing coach Lane Palmer discussed Indo-European first principles. He said those principles are ethnically exclusive, both biologically and spiritually. He also said we need an ethnic religion. Amarnath Amarsingham, an associate professor of religion at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, and an expert in extremism, said folkish groups like the Exiles see a fusion between their religious sense and their racial sense. In a statement to CBC News, Vancouver's Scottish Cultural Centre, where the event was held, said it had been told the event was a book release gathering. Quote, we do not and would not knowingly rent our venue to any group or individual that promotes reprehensible ideologies like hate in any form, including white supremacist organizations, end quote, said Daryl Caricher, the center's executive director.
Did he actually say that, or did they just assume it because they couldn't really understand what he was saying?
That could very well be the issue as well. He said the center was reviewing its booking policies. You might have to sign off on not being a neo-Nazi now.
Do you think they're adding that to the questions they ask? How many people do you have? Are you a neo-Nazi group?
The event also featured a display of books and a talk from the owner of Imperium Press, which describes itself as an illiberal and folkish press. That's what it says.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I've never heard that.
Like the opposite of liberal. like hate liberals.
The company publishes a number of controversial far-right texts, including owner Mike Maxwell's The Cultured Thug, A Guide to Radical Right-Wing Thought, and a book by Martin Sellner, a prominent white nationalist activist from Austria. In previous reporting on Second Sons and active clubs in Canada, I believe we've read an article from CBC on that and the rise of it.
Yeah, we have, and that's where active clubs came from in my mind.
CBC News spoke with gym owners whose facilities had been used by the groups for training. Those gym owners said they had no idea of the ideology espoused by the groups booking their spaces. Researchers have long warned about the infiltration of the martial arts community by neo-Nazi and white supremacist movements. Among the attendees at the Exiles event, CAHN identified a number of gym owners, coaches, and trainers who serve a diverse clientele, including children. CBC's visual investigations team used social media profiles, open source information, and resources such as DarkSide and OSINT Industries, searchable databases that include information pulled from the open web and past data breaches to corroborate the findings. Lane Palmer, who was an organizer and speaker at the event, was listed as a coach at West Shore Boxing Gym at Vancouver Island. Soon after CBC reached Palmer for comment, his profile was taken down from the gym's website. Reached via text for comment, an owner of the West Shore Boxing Gym said they weren't aware of Palmer's background and that he is no longer part of the gym. Quote, "Our gym promotes an inclusive and respectful environment that welcomes people of all backgrounds who respect others and our code of conduct," said co-owner Alexandra Strickland. There's an end quote in there. Ron Pierce, who owns the martial arts club Foundry Combat Sports in Duncan, BC, was also at the event. Pierce hung up on the CBC journalist after being asked about his attendance and didn't respond to other requests for comments.
That's a rare thing to put in the response to comments.
In a statement posted to its Instagram page following a publication on Monday, Foundry Combat Sports said, quote, "Participation in the event by any individual was personal, peaceful, and fully compliant with Canadian law." Whoa, yike. Sounds like anybody going to that gym should probably stop going to that gym.
Unless you're a neo-Nazi.
God,
yeah,
that's
and
bad.
Also, I don't know if everybody knows this. It's not illegal to be a Nazi. Like, that's...
Yeah, ethically it's a little bit...
Technically, he's correct.
No, it is correct. Ethically, though, it's something else.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would like to... I mean, legally, yes, he is right. Quote, "We unequivocally reject any attempt to link our facility, its ownership, or its members with hate, extremism, or unlawful conduct." Quote, end quote, the company said. Sounds like they're Nazis, too. Another attendee was Carl Storness Bliss. Another attendee, you know what, this is going on, but I think we should be saying this. Another attendee was Carl Storness Bliss, co-owner of strength training company Broker Strength Systems. He frequently trains out of Mission BJJ, a gym in Mission, BC that opened in 2023, where he used to be an assistant children's coach. We should probably end it here. I was just enjoying reading. Let's link this article up in the note. Maybe we'll post it on Blue Sky as well. But yeah, comments.
I have 3 big things I wanted to talk about. The first is I was surprised about the martial arts portion of it, just because white nationalists and the idea of using combats that evolved through centuries, or at least were brought to us from different cultures, seems counterintuitive. It does,
doesn't it?
Like, even that last one, like the one they actually got comment from, was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu place. So that seems really weird. The second thing I wanted to mention is I find it very hard to believe you don't know, as a gym owner, that you are hosting a white supremacy rally in your confines. It's not great. And I just can't really accept you didn't know.
See, I could see maybe if you hired somebody and it's like they're attending something, I could see something like that. Not where you're hosting it.
Yeah, no, at your gym, yeah. And you're going to find it really weird when you see this group show up to every one of these events.
Yeah. You would know something was off, wouldn't you? Even if you're like totally turning a blind eye to it, you'd know. You'd know something
even
was
if they're
going
using
on.
coded language, acting nice because everybody's around, it's still, the group you are seeing is not going to be representative of Canada. And then the last thing I just want to mention, just because there's so much Norse mythology nods going on with this, it should be pointed out, Norse people have not always considered themselves all Norse people, and in fact hated each other and their neighbors for a long time. To the point that until very recently, Finns were called China Swedes.
Oh, wow.
As like a derogatory slur. So just something to keep in mind, that like, even though we think about like the whites as group as a thing, it's not a real thing, because there are always in-groups within a group and out-groups that need to be made. It's more so like specific groups of Europeans other than white nationalists, if you want to find pride in something. Give you something to direct it to if you need to direct it at something in that way.
I mean, it's a super, super concerning uprise of it, I think, at least in the United States and Canada right now. And something that I actually...
Oh, and the UK too. What's his name? Tommy UK, Robinson? Yeah, that guy's...
I guess Europe. But it's something that has come up on my list of episodes to do on a completely different kind of topic than this, but I think might link back to it somehow, and it might be something to do in that episode, is Odinism, which is some type of like occult.
Yes, white nationalists love Odin.
Yeah, so that's when it said that it's on my list, because it was linked to actually a crime that I've been following, which I can't think of it because you're putting me on the spot right now. I would otherwise be able to tell you. And it sounded like an intriguing, like it's going through like the prison system right now, really big.
Where?
In the States.
Okay.
So I thought it sounded like right up this alley for what the ties that you're making, without knowing much about it.
And our listeners have 48 hours to look this up, so I mean, all power to them. Your detective skills are put to the test, and I guess you'll be rewarded when you see the episode.
And if you're renting out your space, probably double check that they're not neo-Nazis. Yeah.
I think that just goes without saying. Anyhow, bye.